Hey everybody, KC here. I don't cause enough trouble on Morning Newsbeat all by myself. I got an email from a reader the other day that posed a question that this reader wanted me to weigh in on. And wanted me to react to an article that was, I think, in USA Today, which pointed out that in a number of places, smokers are being put to the head of the line when it comes to getting the COVID-19 vaccine. And sometimes ahead of teachers, ahead of people who are older, because smokers are seen as being at risk. And this reader wanted to see me weigh in on that. And clearly aware of the fact that I have ranted and raved against the tobacco industry for a long time here on Morning Newsbeat. And it's interesting. I gave it a lot of thought. I actually talked to Mrs. Content Guy, and I talked to my daughter, and I talked to some friends about this because I know what my first reaction was, which is, this is nonsense. Come on, people who smoke are smoking because they've made that choice, and they should not necessarily be put to the head of the line when it comes to getting the COVID-19 vaccine. That was my first reaction, and I wanted to test that premise out with a bunch of people, and I have to say, there was nobody I talked to who thought that I was wrong about that. Um, but I did think but then I started to think about a couple of other things. First of all, I thought about the fact that, well, an addiction is an illness, right? It's yes, you may get yourself addicted in the beginning, but the inability to stop using whatever that product is, well, that's an addiction, that's an illness, and at some level, maybe we have to cut people a little bit of a break. And we don't necessarily want everybody who smokes to die first, right? I'm not sure that's the healthiest attitude to take. And quite frankly, I thought about my mom. My mom's been gone now more than 20 years. She died very young. She died of lung cancer that metastasized everywhere. And she was maybe a year or two older than I am now when she passed away. And mom, mom tried a lot, got addicted to smoking when she was very, very young, and was for a long time was unable to break the habit and tried almost everything. And it was one of the hardest things she ever did. Now, eventually, she did manage to quit smoking. Right? She was in her early 60s when she finally managed to quit smoking. But it was too late, right? And she smoked for, I don't know, 40 something years. And it was really, really hard. And I think about mom, and I think, well, wouldn't I want her to be, put to the head of the list if she was an at-risk person? I would, but I also have to admit that that's probably a good reason for people like me not to be making those decisions about their parents and people that they love. I do think that I think as a society, we can try to be open hearted and we can try to be open minded, but I do have to admit that when it comes to giving people who are smokers priority over teachers, um, and people who might be in their at the wrong end of being middle aged. I'm not sure it's the wrong end, but at the back end of being middle aged. Um, I'm not sure that that's necessarily fair. It's a hard one, right? It is a matter of what is the ethical thing to do. You know, it's not as easy, I think, as my first reaction, which was no way they shouldn't get it. These are, after all, people who we love. These are people who are addicted. They have an illness, and I have to say, and having thought about it and talked about it and sort of puzzled over it, I don't think they should be getting priority treatment. I say that with my mind, but my heart, I'm not so sure. But that said, I'm pretty sure I think that anybody who works for a tobacco company selling and marketing this crap to people, they ought to go last. Anyway, that's what's on my mind, and I guess my heart this morning. And as always, I want to hear what's on your mind.